Hey music theory community, today I want to look at cadential 6/4 cadences, and that is where we have a one chord in second inversion and it leads into a 5 chord or a 5/7 chord and resolves. So it's a true preparation of dominant harmony and appears more oftenly on a downbeat. So we're going to put a bar line here. And the chord that comes right before it is typically subdominant harmony. So 1/4 in this progression, now 1/6/4 and 5/7 and 1. Now I've used the term 5/6/4 over here, being that some theory manuals or professors very often label this as 5/6/4 since it forms truly part of dominant harmony. It's a precursor to dominant harmony. But it truly is a one chord in second inversion heading into a 5/7 chord. Okay, let's take a look at this in chorale style. We have treble and bass clef. We're in the key of G major. G major has 1 sharp and F sharp. And let's flesh out our first chord in 4-part chorale style writing. We have a G in the bass. We need G, B, D. In a triad, we typically want to double the root of the chord. Let's start on the third of the chord here. And we need a D, so G, B, D. What we're doing here is we're doubling the third of the chord, which is another option. Okay, now we need the 4th chord. It's a chord that is built on the note C in the key of G major. It's got scale degree 4, 6, and 1. So in the bass, we definitely need a C. The best tone to double in this chord is a C. We need an E and we need a G. An E and a G. So the E can go here. The soprano can open up to the C natural, and that way we can create some parallel motion in parallel sixths here. What about the tenor? We have a C, we have an E, we need a G. The tenor can take the G. That would be an option. Again, that's voice meeting, not voice crossing. Notice how the bass had sung the G and now dips down to the C, and now the soprano takes over with the G and it's meeting at the same tone that the bass had sung. That is an option. We can smooth the transition in with a passing tone A natural. If you want to avoid that voice meeting issue, then we have to revoice the chord. So let's try to look at that. What would be the option for the tenor? The tenor can take on the C natural as well. So the tenor can take the C here. So we have a C, an E, and we would need a G. So then the soprano can take that G natural. And that would be smoother part writing. And then we can have a passing tone A natural there. So I kind of like that part writing better since every part sits more clearly. Let's go on. Let's look at the cadential 6/4 now. That chord has to have the notes of the tonic triad and it sits in second inversion. So the notes of the tonic triad are G, B, and D. D has to be the bass note, so here is our bass note. And the best tone to double in the cadential 6/4 is the rare 5th of the chord. Rarely do we double the 5th of the chord, but in the cadential 6/4 we do double the 5th of the chord, the best option to double. So the D here, and what can we do? What can we do with doubling another D? The option would be with the tenor to rise or the alto to descend. Let's hold common tones whenever we can. So the soprano will hold a G natural. So we have a G already. We need a B. How about the tenor go back down to the B, and then the alto can take the D natural, and that's smooth part writing. Let's check for parallel motion. C to E natural, a third. So these parts that are moving down are in fact parallel thirds. Again, that is good voice leading technique. Parallel thirds, 6 and 10ths are good. Okay, now the 5/6/4 also known as the 1-6-4, resolves into the 5-7 chord. And let's look at how. The bass note will stay. Since the second, a 1 chord in second inversion has the 5th scale degree in it, and now a 5-7 chord in root position has D in its bass, D, F sharp, A, and C. Now, how can we resolve this? The 6 and the 4 need to resolve to the 5 and the 3 of the 5-7 in their respective voices. That's important. So where is the 6th above the D? Where is the 6th above the D? It's the B. So the tenor would be best to go to the A natural. And where is the 4th above the D? Where's the 4th above the D? It would be the G. And the G would best be to go to the F sharp. Why the F sharp? The F sharp is the 5th above the D. And then the A is the 5th above the D. And then, sorry, the F sharp is the 3rd above the D. So the 6 and the 4 need to resolve to 5 and 3 respectively for a good voice leading technique, for the 6-4 to resolve into the 5-7. Let's look at that alto D natural. What are we going to do with that? Have we used the 7th of the chord yet? We have not. We have not. So the best place to put the alto is to give it the C natural, the 7th of the chord. We know that 7ths of the chords resolve down to the 3rd scale degree. We know that the leading tone of the 5-7 resolves upward. What is the leading tone of this 5-7 chord? D, F sharp, A, C. It's the F sharp. The F sharp is the leading tone and it needs to resolve up to the tonic. Okay? Now, the D natural needs to resolve down to the tonic. We can go back up to this D, or let's create some more open spacing in this final resolution. So we have a G, we have a B, we need the D. So what would be the option here? It seems that the tenor would have to skip up to the D. Is that an option? No, because then you'd have voice crossing with the alto. So the tenor would have to drop down to the D natural and meet at the bass's prior note. In this case, I would also recommend the option of omitting the 5th and doubling up on the 3rd of the chord. So you'll have G, G, B, B. That would be another option to have a smoother voice leading and avoid voice crossing. The other option would be for the tenor to descend down to the D natural and sing the note that the bassist had last sung, which would be voice meeting and not really voice crossing. Okay, let's take a look at some of this in action. Let's go back to the very first chord, the 1 chord. Let's roll this chord. The passing tone A, subdominant harmony. Now the 5-6-4, 5-7, 1. And again, at this last chord, the alto and the tenor are meeting at the same tone in unison, and that's an option. Again, this is due to smooth voice leading. So one more time from the very opening, block chords. Once again, 1, passing chord tone, subdominant harmony, 5-6-4 or your cadential 6-4. And there you have it. Once again, the cadential 6-4, it's a 1 chord in second inversion, or also known as 5-6-4, since it forms part of dominant harmony, is a good precursor to dominant harmony. It happens on a strong beat, and it prolongs the whole dominant key, dominant area. Happens a lot in classical music and also in Baroque music. All right, music theory students, thank you for watching. Take care.